Hi, my name's Rawlings and I teach Muay Thai and Thai related martial arts. Yeah, Krabi Krabi, Muay Thai, Muay Thai, old style boxing. Yeah, been teaching for about 20 years and I run the Mungkorn Dam Gym in Southend, Essex. I started with karate because I was doing some weight training, injured myself, and thought a good way of getting fit was karate. So I started with that, and then I moved on to kickboxing, and then gradually found my way into Thai boxing after a few competitions in kickboxing and stuff. Andy Tunnock taught me karate for 2.5 years, a good instructor, and then I met Chris Williams, who taught kickboxing, and I trained with him for probably about 7 or 8 years, I think, and had a few fights with him as well, and then I gradually moved into Thai boxing, but there was no Thai boxing around here, and there was no internet back in them days and that, so when you did kickboxing, it was take your shin pads off, and now that's Thai boxing, and that's what we all thought Thai boxing was. But then gradually I learnt more and more, met the right people and started learning, and found it was a whole different way of moving, and all the philosophy behind it is different and everything. So I started getting back into that, and then travelled to Manchester and learnt now. Bruce Lee films, stuff, we grew up with him, and learnt martial arts through Bruce Lee, what they all was and stuff, you know. But when I started actually training, I think when I met Tony Moore and saw him do a demonstration in Birmingham with Krabi Krabi, the swords, with his son Stephen, and I thought, yeah, that's what I need to be learning and doing that. So I made the journey to Manchester, spoke to Tony and started learning with him. But he is a big inspiration. He knows a lot about Thai boxing and, you know, original where it all comes from and stuff like that. So I learned a lot from him. Well, the headband is handed down from instructor to student, and when that student is ready to start teaching, the instructor will give him that headband, and that's for his students to wear during the fight. But it brings good luck, and it's kept up. Ours is up there, and it's kept up as high as it can be in the gym for up until they fight, and then it's put on the student's head before he actually gets in the ring. He climbs over the ropes because the Thais believe evil spirits live waist down. So when you bend down to get through the ropes, they believe that evil spirits will cling onto it, and you'll take them into the ring, which will bring you bad luck. So you get over the top of the ropes with the headband on, and you perform the Wai Crew Ramoy, which is the pre-fight dance, with the headband on. Then it's taken off before the actual bout starts. I think I was my last fight. I was 37, and that's why I fought in Thailand when I was 37. I got talked into it in the gym. I was training over there, normal gym trip, and I was training, and they said they had someone who had the same amount of fights as me and wanted to fight, and so I hurt my hand that trip, so I didn't actually fight in that time. But I went back 6 months later, and then I fought him then. And yeah, it was good. Yeah, I watched him fight before, and he was quite good in the clinch and that. So I worked on a lot of elbows and a lot of clinch and stuff. But when I actually got in there and started fighting him, he didn't want to come near me, to be honest. Westerners more boxing orientated than Thais, so I think he just wanted to stay away from the hands, to be honest. Every time I went to clinch him up, he sort of backed away and moved around. So I had to wait until he wore himself out and stuck himself in the corner before I could get in there, and I ended up finishing him in the 3rd round, knee in the head. Comes from footwork. Everything comes from footwork. If your footwork is poor and your balance is poor, you're never going to put any power behind your techniques and stuff. So we start off in this gym, everything is to do with footwork, and I keep going on about footwork all the time. But when you see our fighters fight, their footwork is definitely a lot better than other gyms and that, so it is a good thing, footwork. Tony Moore taught me that as well, and when I went to Thailand, they didn't speak much English in the gym, and they drew on the floor in chalk, where your feet should go and stuff like that, you know. And because the canvas is quite old and saggy, when you put your foot down, they can tell how much weight you've got on the back or the front of your foot. And they used to whack you on the back of the heel with a big stick if you had too much weight on your heel and stuff. So that's how I learn, and then I carry on like that in the gym. A good footwork is a basic for everything. You can't really condition yourself for elbows, but you sort of ride the elbow a little bit, so you just have to be aware of where it's coming from and the angles of where it is, you know. But you just keep your hands up that little bit higher when you're fighting with elbows. The juniors in this country and the juniors we have in the gym, they don't fight with any head contact, so their hands are always down here, which protects the body. And when they move on to adult fights, it's quite a big shock to suddenly have to lift their hands up that little bit further. And when you fight with elbows, you have to have your hands up a little bit higher still, and just be aware of distance, how close that person's got to be to actually elbow you. Your hand will compensate and rise up accordingly. We normally start about 3 months in. We get emailed through the gym saying we've got a fight on this day, and we're looking for this weights and that. And I look in the gym who's fit at the time, and I match them up, put them in for a match, and then we start 3 months out. We start running and getting used to getting into a habit of getting out, running, wherever the weather's like and stuff like that. A bit of bad work, bit of fitness, bit of footwork again, and so on. A bit of ring craft, and then gradually up it more and more sparring as the months go on. And then a month in, we stop sparring. Only hands only, and that's all, and then it's all pad work after that. So the pad work will teach you like ring craft and how to get your hands up, move around, and then so on. And then if we know who we're fighting, then we'll look at them on YouTube and so on, and try and work out a game plan accordingly. We've got about 6 title holders in the gym at the moment, juniors and adults. We've got juniors defending their titles this weekend, and we've got juniors challenging 4 titles this weekend as well, and we've got 1 adult fighting for an English title. So over the years, I think we've got about 10 students with titles, and we've got currently about 6 in the gym at the moment. So overall, we've done quite well, to be honest. When everyone gets treated like a fighter. At the moment, this weekend, we've got 5 fighters fighting, so all the classes have evolved around the fighters and stuff. So even the people who are just here for fitness, they get shouted at to do more crunches and more press-ups and that. And everyone's got it's a big gym, it's training as a gym rather than individuals and that sort of thing. They all go running together, you know. They all spar with the fighters and that sort of thing, you know, and they all enjoy it. And then they go and watch them fight, and you know, they've been part of it, you know. So it's good. The atmosphere in the gym is really loud in classes. Everyone's hitting pads and screaming at each other. It's good, yeah, and it makes it all worthwhile when you see them all. Yeah, it's good.